just occurred to me. I ended that last stream by not ending the last stream. And the reason I started over is because I really didn't want the last stream to continue while I plug this in. And you heard me cussing to myself. I was whispering out loud to myself in that previous ending to my last stream all of 2 seconds ago. Because, all right, so I officially ended the last stream at a point where I had just gotten my computer back from Microsoft, and I read the little inside of my box, and it says, "This is what we did." Well, we tested all these things to make sure they worked, and they did mention USB. So there's only 2 ports on here, USB ports. So that's the problem with my thing, is the USB ports. But I'm telling you right now, I can feel it in my gut. If this is the same computer and they just tested it and sent it back to me, the problem is not fixed. Because what they're doing is they just run these dumb diagnostics. Oh, does it function? Yes, it functions. Well, of course it functioned. The problem wasn't that it didn't function. The problem was that it kept disconnecting. Whenever you bump the cord, or after a while, it would, I guess one of the ports, if you just bump a cord, it disconnects. The other port, it just randomly would lose connection. It's like, I don't know if there's a bad connector in there, if there's some kind of a power flow issue. I'm not sure. But either way, it would just occasionally go boop, and I would lose it. This is why I would, like right now, you see me running my stream, and jeez. Oh, by the way, I won't be gaming tonight as early as I normally do on Fridays, because I have acting class tonight. Not class, rehearsal tonight. 5 more rehearsals left till the big day, my first ever play I'll be doing. But that's besides the point. I just thought about that because my brain's going, you got a lot to do today, and you still got to leave tonight, and you haven't even looked at your lines. I know my lines, but you still need to look at them and just kind of keep reviewing them. Make sure you're nothing slipping away in the preparation process. Anyway, so anyhow, you heard me mumbling while I was setting this computer up. As I do, I tend to talk to myself. I think that's a little bit to do with streaming, but I don't do it out loud as loud. I tend to just mumble to myself. So I don't know what you heard and what you didn't. But ultimately, I was complaining about this computer I know is going to be broken, and I was telling myself I have to connect my video card, because that's where the big problems occurred, right? Because I had my external video card attached to it, and it would just lose it. And I was mad at I'm mad because I'm afraid that based on what that piece of paper says, they did nothing to address the port's connection issues. Brand new cords, because it's not the cord's fault. I tried different cords. I tried 2-3 different cords, one of which was brand spanking new. All high quality cords. I mean, these are cords, cables, whatever, that cost $20 to $30. Super high reviews. I mean, these are good cable cords. And but I have to take the video card that's in the computer you see me using right now out of that computer, put it back in the external GPU box, plug it back into this computer, and then, of course, try to run stuff. I will do the top cable, the top slot right away. That's the one where I can tell if I just bump it, it just disconnects. That's like an instantaneous. I'll know it's crap. So I could figure that out in probably 5 minutes. If that one doesn't seem to be working, I'll be like, oh, maybe they did something. Now, either they fixed it, which I hope they didn't, because I think if they fixed it, it probably isn't fixed. Because what are they going to do? I mean, really, they're going to go on there and resolder stuff? Are they going to reconnect how that cable works? They're replacing the ports. It doesn't say they did any of that. So if all they did was test, then I'm praying they replaced, that this is a replacement. What I did not do, and I should have done, and I mentioned this talking to myself, which you may or may not heard if you were giggling in the background while I said, he didn't disconnect, because I pushed the wrong button. That's why. there's 3 blue buttons right next to each other on my OBS. Stop streaming, and then the other 2. I'd say the other 2, because one of them is just the highlighted. I have a vertical layout set up, and it's just the highlighted scene that I'm using on the vertical layout, which isn't running, but it's blue. It's the same color. And then there's a button I do use frequently, and it's the backtrack button, which allows me to create a little 2-minute or so backtrack of whatever I've been recording for the vertical. So if I want to create a short out of it. And sometimes I do use that. I mean, I click it and then I'll just continue on. But apparently it was one of those I pushed when I hit stop. I didn't hit stop. I did whatever I did. So you heard me mumbling for the next several minutes of what I was doing. And I was like, I looked down at my phone and I was like, why am I moving? Because that should be disconnected. Because it was just my Twitch stream, because I always have my Twitch stream on because for multiple reasons, but primarily to make sure that it's actually working. Unfortunately, I don't use sound, so the biggest problem is, oh good, I am live. But then somebody comes along and goes, by the way, your mic is crap. We can't hear it. I'm like, what? And I'll look at it and it's like, it's either not on, or like yesterday, it was fritzing out. Something about my computer was fritzing out. I had to reboot, so I had to shut down everything and come back up. But anyway, so I was dreading going through the whole process of setting this computer back up, knowing, or no, okay, don't be negative, Ken. Don't be negative. It's not necessarily what's going to happen. It's like, okay. Take a deep breath. It's probably not going to happen. You know, I had 2 issues. I actually sent it in originally because the one problem that kept occurring, oh yeah, the fans are crap. The computer was making grinding noises and stuff. After sending it back twice for that reason, it finally came back with the fans not grinding. So I thought either they replaced it or fixed them, whatever they did, they got it back. I told them, okay, so the one they sent me, I said, well, I don't know if it was a replacement or the repair, but the ports were failing on me constantly. Didn't matter what I plugged in. And yeah, it's easier to tell with the video card because it's a more obvious problem. If I do it with a camera or something else, it seems to be temporary. In other words, it can flicker and not be a problem. And so it's a little harder to make it fail. But you do it with the video card, which is drawing a ton of, it's drawing a ton of power. It's a constantly on connection. If anything happens, it's a massive blow to the computer. It's like, ooh, things crash and your screens shut down or lock up or whatever. It just comes because it's everything's dependent on that video card. So that's part of why it's just better to use the item that's causing most of the problems. I'm logging into my Microsoft account and probably getting the password wrong. Oh. That's fine. Anyway, so that's what I'm kind of going through right now. So hopefully by the end of the day, I'll know if I'm sending it back to him. I probably should try to spend some time. The thing is, there's a lot of things I have to set up to make my video card even work. One of the issues, I didn't even know that they had this. I probably should have read the paper the last 2 times I did this. There's a high-pitched noise in my ear. Don't know where it's coming from. Is that they actually have a way to restore your computer. Because they send it to you completely formatted. I don't know what they do. But apparently they do have an image. I'm guessing it says restore all your files and stuff. So I'm going to go on and try to do the restore. I'll let that run while I'm working here. And then cross my fingers, I'll connect the video card up again and run a couple quick tests. See if I actually get to use my computer What I'll probably do is still use it. I'll call Microsoft, set up the return. It's just, I just know it's, please work, please be fixed. I'm just fearing, I don't want to go through this again, because that'll mean I'm off it again for another week. Well, it was 10 days. I sent it in on a Monday, and I got it back today. So that's 10 days. I sent it in first thing Monday morning last week. And then I got it back today. They sent it back supposedly last Friday. And but of course, actually, it was Thursday night that they submitted the, they created the packing, the shipping label. I got the notice that it was shipped on Friday morning. So on Thursday night, they created the shipping label. On Friday morning, I got the notice. It wasn't until Monday afternoon that UPS said they actually got the package. So either UPS is really slow to scan stuff, or they create the labels and then they don't actually give them to UPS until the next business day, which means created on Thursday night, slapped it on the computer Friday morning, and don't actually give it till the next business day, which is the following Monday, and that's when UPS scanned it, which is like, so ultimately it was almost 4 days from the time they printed the label. And then of course it took 5 days. Actually, they got here earlier. I wasn't supposed to get here till this afternoon. I just accepted all their junk. I don't care. Ugh. There's so much garbage, man. It doesn't even have all my stuff. Okay, do I do that? Huh. I don't know how this... I would have thought that would have worked, but let's click the right button. Just trying to get, I'm trying to get it to go and just do its thing, but it's got all these freaking questions. Sheesh. Don't need to do that. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I don't want that. They try to sell you crap. Ugh, gotta go through all this stuff. All right, is it finally going? It's checking for window updates, which is fine. That's part of the process. But okay, let's see about getting something done here. All right, so I'm trying to get in my process here. I want to get my formations to load, and I was trying to figure out the best way to go about accomplishing that. So I was doing some tests. I want to be able to filter, so I just created this basic little dumb filter, which, by the way, is terrible looking, right? So what kind of play am I going to create? Got offensive play, defensive play, or rather an apple play, a banana play, and a cherry play. And then I have my select formation, which is, by the way, the only thing that's going to show. Select formation. It's weird how I've got to. Let's see. Let's try to do some stuff here. I'm gonna go to my buddy, and we will go. And improvement. And we also need the component placed underneath. Let's see what this does. I'm trying to use Copilot to the extent that I don't want to use up my chat and my interestingly enough, by the way, if you don't know this, Copilot for your VS Code or Visual Studio or whatever has a limit per month. So if you hit your limit, you will not be able to use it again until the end of the month. For me, that's like 2 weeks. I really used it up fast. I didn't even realize there was a limit. I mean, it was free. It just came online like a week ago. So I managed to hit my limit in a little over a week, which is worse, by the way, than the way ChatGPT and Claude, they only limit you. If you hit your limit, you have a daily limit, but at least you can reset the next day. You're not done for a month. Copilot says, I'll use this as much as you want. But when you hit your limit, man, you're done until the next month. So it's like, who do you use? Well, if I was to pay for one at this moment, it would be ChatGPT. Just because it's the most reliable, it does the best job, it's most successful. It is if I was to choose next, it'd be between Claude and Copilot, the built-in Copilot. And that's because of the built-in functionality of being able to just say, look at my code and help me figure this out. This way, you don't have to copy and paste. I've gotten used to starting to do copy and paste a lot. I had to do that a lot with ChatGPT and Claude before I got the Copilot working. Third, I'd probably buy Claude. But all of these cost like $20 a month. So I'm certainly not about to cough up $60 a month to get these guys. The Copilot, the worst AI of the three is Copilot on your application. Now I've heard there's some other ones that actually can build in that are better than Copilot. I don't know, but Copilot it's just wrong a lot. But because it's really frustrating because you ask it questions and it won't look at your code unless you tell it to look at your code. Even if you use Workspace, Workspace is a prefix you put in. It's supposed to be able to look at. It'll look at maybe the current page consistently on its own, but if there's other pages that might be involved, you have to tell it, look at all of my code and tell me where's the problem here. And then it might get it right. But you have to tell it to do it. It doesn't just do it. Just because you say Workspace, it's not gonna promise. Good luck. Workspace is not, maybe that's because I'm doing it in Visual Studio. Maybe it doesn't work as well in Visual Studio. Code, I still feel like it was doing it in Code too, but maybe not as bad. Yeah. One of the things that irritates me about using Copilot in the Windows Copilot is that it'll show you like this, nice laid out code, looks good, but when you copy and paste it, it draws it into one line. So the more code you have, wow, the more of a nightmare it is. Even when you you click the copy code button, watch. I'll take this, I'll put it right here. And watch, it'll be one long line. Oh. Call me a liar. It's like, whatever, man. You could call me a liar. It's like, that's not what I expected to happen. It shouldn't have happened that way. I think maybe, or if you copy the code by selecting areas, maybe that's what maybe that's where it breaks down. So apparently if you click the copy code button, it's not too bad. But if you just try to copy a section, like you don't want the entire piece of code, that's when things kind of go down the tubes. I don't need this. And we'll comment this one out for now. Okay, that's closer. It's still kind of weird. I think what I need to do is align these up. For some reason, they're all aligning. Class name, flex, justify around. Space. Okay, that's actually not too bad. You know what? I could probably get rid of this play type thing. Because you're in the play editor. What do I need to play type? I mean, offense, defense, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm not big on redundancy. Like you said, it could be a failing, but it's also, I think, my pages are going to tend to look pretty clean. So it could be a drawback, could be a positive, could be a negative, because sometimes I don't like to put excessive words on a screen. Again, we're dealing with a game here. I mean, if you're playing a game, words on screen, you want minimal. You want the visuals, the graphics, the functions to be the heart of the game. That's my goal for a game. And that's how I believe the best games are. The ones have. So look, this is a game. This is a game. No kidding, this is a game. That's what you've been working on, man. What are you talking about? Of course it's, I don't know, what is this nonsense you speak? So this is a game called Retro Bowl. It's a football game as well, obviously. It's what I'm using for my examples. Let's close this thing here. Can I make it go away without? All right, fine, we'll close it. All right, so there's words on the screen. This is your main menu, right? You're gonna load. Sometimes the load, okay, I can see the home page. It looks like, this one's really generic. This game is all about being a retro game. It looks like something you'd see on an old Nintendo. So, yeah. But what it's got going for it, one of its, what do you call it? It's draws. One of its draws is that it looks like an old Nintendo game. So really, as much as this looks like a bunch of words in boxes, it's actually a graphical layout that's manipulating, no, not manipulating, that's mimicking an old Nintendo console, which had words. Now, in an old Nintendo console, this would actually probably just be a lot of words. It's like a lot of clutter. The thing is, in an old game like that, or 8-bit, 16-bit games, you didn't have graphical capabilities, right? It was all about the words and laying it out and just trying to be clean about it. This game actually is doing quite a bit of visual graphics here because it's giving you the feel of an actual old game by way of mimicking it, emulating it, and it's kind of cool. It is what it is, and it makes it feel like you're doing an old game. But reality is, if this person was to actually create this game, it would not look anything like this. If all you did is put these words on the screen, it would look completely different. But there's a graphical effort made in making this look like something different than what you'd see in current games. Right now, you can make text just be text, and it would look like crap, because even though it looks clean and sharp and new text is text, it doesn't look like a game. This looks like a game because you know this is not how things look. That's the thing. If things don't look that way, if they don't function that way, and in much the same way, like in my game, I can go to my homepage and this looks like a game. This looks like something, like some kind of fantasy world. It is kind of that, but it's supposed to be a football game set in a fantasy world. And what if the NFL was created in the Tolkien era? Or the D&D era? D&D's what is the world? Forgotten Realms. If it was designed in D&D's Forgotten Realms and football came out as part of their universe using the same rules, what would it look like? So we create this stadium, but everybody who's playing is an actual creature of some kind. Now, yeah, they'd be able to use their abilities and stuff, which you can't do in this game, but that's not the point. The point is you're actually in this universe, but it's graphical. It's something that you feel like you're in another world, another game, another thing. So when I click on stuff, I click on this, I want you to feel like you still are in that game. So this should probably be written in a way that's more gamey. Right now, it still looks too much like a list box, right? I still think it can be. I think you can give it some gold borders, some black lining, or even a brown or tan, which is also, it very much fits the motif. But the trick is to try to come up with something that looks like you're in this other world, doing the same things you would anywhere else, like any other GM game, but coming up with a way to make it look like a game. And that's kind of my objective. I want to give it that motif. I don't know how to do that yet. And I'm not sure, I probably have to implement some kind of graphics. I would probably have to create some kind of a graphic background and have my text kind of overlay on the graphics. That's probably what's going to have to happen, because there's only so much you can do with React in its natural form to get an appearance that looks like, something you'd see on that, in that environment, in that world. Because I've got these guys on here. It's just a black screen background, which I don't like. Ideally, I'll put a better back screen on here, one that fits my window and resizes to the window. But again, this is like the coach, which of course he's going to have other stats. You can click on him, get more stuff off of him. But right now, it's just what you see. Now, if I go to the playbook, same basic thing. I want the same background. I don't know, maybe I put something kind of cool border on this just to kind of give you that look, but it's still the football field in the middle. But again, I want to honor my motif all the way through the game so that you feel like you're in this slightly different world, but you're just playing football. You're managing a football team. So I think the feel, the look of the game has to be consistent. And like there's other games that are football games that do a pretty good job of keeping things graphical, right? So even Big Win football. All right, so let's show Big Win. I like this one. I've been using this one as an example a lot lately because I think they do some things pretty well. I will not say they do everything well, but they do some things pretty well. Like I think this bit is kind of weird. The cards, not the way you got cards. Mine is going to give you cards. It's going to do stuff too. But I want my cards are going to look like something you'd see at the time. Like I don't know. I think maybe. Oh yeah, I think my player cards are going to look like scrolls. That's what they're going to look like. That's going to be cool. They'll just be scrolls. Same stuff, but it's going to be on the round parchment type style of a scroll. And you're going to have your player information on there. And yeah, it's going to be cool. All right. So again, this looks like a game, right? You got the guy in the background. It's the colors, the menus. They do have words on them, but they're graphically enhanced. They have not just an icon, but they got the box that's kind of glowy. It's not just the word on a tab or a button that acts like a tab. This is even, it has the word play. You need to have words to say what you're going to do, but it's a graphically enhanced. It's got a picture on it. It looks good. Now, I would like, my goal for my game is to try to get away from words, right? I'm going to show you another game, which is not football. Well, actually, I don't know who's going to open faster. Let's open it on here. Again, the goal for this game, and I'll probably do this a lot, where I talk about the design goals of this game. All right. So this is Watcher of Realms, which I'm sure a lot of people have played because it's got a bajillion downloads and it's popular. When I stream it online, I get a fair number of views. So I know it's pretty good. And I like it. I liked it. I don't like it as much because it is a free-to-play that has some ceilings that I've hit. And I can't play the game. It's got some flaws. All of them have flaws, right? Really? Every time I start this game, they have something to download. And it takes forever. All right, let's close this. Let my phone do that in the background. I think I updated more recently on my computer. Because really what I want to show is what I think is kind of what I want for my game. I want the areas to be the... what is all this? Welcome to Windows. Oh, it's the intro thing. I'm going to go do the... Oh, man. It was just like 2 days ago that I updated this game. They do updates too much. And they're big. They take a long time. Look at that. I gotta wait 2.73 gigs. I tell you, I just updated it like 2 or 3 days ago. And they've got another gargantuan update. I mean, whatever. Okay, well, I can't use that as an example. Let's see if I have... I can't even use this thing as an example. Screw it. I give up. Needless to say, it doesn't use a lot of words on its page. You've got buildings with little dudes sitting next to them. You got a dragon to go to this dragon thing. Objectively, you've got objects on the field that are... They look like things to click, right? I mean, they might have little icons on them, little things that kind of bring them out, but you don't need... There's no words, right? I mean, that's kind of what I'd like. I want to build it where you have minimal words. There are times when you have to have words because you need to explain or show or make it clear what somebody's working on. Like this offense, defense, and special teams. I've been thinking I might want to replace those. Like defense might be a shield offense might be a quarterback going to throw the ball. Special teams could be, one of the player kicking the ball. Just something where it's iconic, where it's gamified. Icons are gamification, right? You want them to be obvious. So obvious, there's going to be a lot of times when I need to actually say what something is because it's hard to read. Like I was looking at, let's see here. There is my market research one. Okay, so there's a game online that's also a gridiron football game. It's using a web interface. I think it's this one. Is that the one? Yeah. Oh, no, that's... Oh, this is the one that a lot of people compare for good football managers. That's at least what I'm told. It's got... I don't know. I guess it's got everything you could want in a football manager. But this is soccer. It's football in the soccer form. Oh, is it this one? Gridiron. Is that the one? I can't find the one. Where was the one I was working on? I thought this was one. Oh, this is a different one. Jeez. I have to research that one some more. That's not the one, though. Nope. Dang it. Where'd it go? Pocket GM. Football. Draft day. Well, I had it because I actually was kind of fiddling with it. As in trying to play with it a little bit. Well,
why did this game fail? Or this one? Or this one?
Market
feels
research.
Like a toss-up if you make an indie title.
No, it doesn't. You look at a lot of these games. All right, I know this is distracting me again. But like, you play this.
Why did this game fail? Or this one? Or this one? It feels like a toss-up.
They're ugly. Look at that. That's why it failed. I mean, come on. It failed because it's not a game. It's not good. It's not a toss-up.
If you make an indie title.
Look at that. That one's also not good. So you set your bar low. You put out a game that's got a low bar. Don't be surprised when it fails. You've got to... I mean, look at Stardew Valley. This guy spent 4 years on this. I can't click on that because that's his screen.
Talk about some
But you can look at these. If you know anything, you probably know what Stardew Valley is. I even know what it is, and I've never played it. So it's well known. It's well known. I've heard many mentions of it. Football. Like, what is all that? Okay, so that's totally not even. This page must have been opened by something else because it doesn't even have a history. That one's not it. Your ultimate American football management experience. Really? Your very own trophy case. Football game of the year. Really? I don't know. They don't have alternate logins. That's not good. I don't think I have one. I was going to look at another game that I had up because it showed what I wanted to show right out the gate. But apparently there's a couple of them that are online. Let's see. Maybe it'll show it in the video. What I'm talking about when I say, oh man, I guess not. There's no way to fast forward. Run your team, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is college? No, it says pro football. Ugh, no videos of the actual game. It's not going to give me an option. I don't... Oh, wait, fine. That's not it. Dang it. All right, I don't want to do this right now. I'll look at it later. Okay, so ultimately the idea is less words and clarification. Some of them will say... some of them will even put words in and give you the definition, but you're like, what is that? In other words, it'll say, I don't know, PLM or some weird acronym, and you're like, Play League Manager, Power Left Middle. I don't know, but you're trying to come up with what PLM is in your head, and then you'll go over it, and it'll say Player Left. I don't know. It'll say something that makes sense, and you're like, oh. What is that? It's like the words are there. I don't know what it means still. It's like, yeah, power long movement. I don't know, something like that. But it's just still, you're coming up with this, I have this information and you're like, that didn't help at all, But so you kind of need to explain. Sometimes if you're going to let somebody get into the weeds of football, know this, that a lot of the people who get into the weeds of football don't know what's in the weeds. They don't know what's in there. They just went in there and they're like, I want to know the inner workings. So somebody who knows the inner workings is there. They did all the research. They found all this stuff and they developed this game. Say, all right, this is the inner workings. And you're like, I don't know what that is. It's like, if you want to give people the power to manage stuff, give them the knowledge they need to manage this stuff. What does this do? What is the effect it's going to have? All right, finally, is this going to load? It's funny, I clicked on that, my PC went off. Because I haven't started the backup. I really probably should start that. I just wanted to show you real quick if this will load. It should load because I know I just ran it the other day. But, do a 1 gigabyte update. Who knows? I want my images to be clean like this. But this is a lot of high-res stuff, and I don't know if my game's going to get there or not. Okay, so this is the... Now I got to go through about 50 ads. Okay, now we're back. Okay, so they got rid of the snowy. Why did they get rid of the snowy? We're still in the middle of winter. But, okay, so you've got all these locations. They do have the shields above everything that can be done. So that's kind of an interesting marker, which is probably a good idea. I would have all my areas and then have little markers. But again, it's visual. It's not words. A bag means money. This means go do... That's a task. They probably just did that because they didn't know what to say. But I think you're questing on this person. This is the dragon's home or whatever. The presents give you an indication that there's a thing to get back from that if you go in there. But it's a lot of... I want to have something like this on my game. I like this idle rewards. I think that's good. It is a free-to-play, but I want people to be able to do everything. So, okay, so I think this is your Gold Dragon Pass, which is the season pass. And they call it the Gold Dragon Pass. And you pay whatever the heck this is. Is that the cost? $19.99 to play for a season? I don't know. But this is all the stuff you can get. I don't know that you actually get the stuff. Purchase to unlock Gold Dragon level rewards and claim the following exclusives. So they might give you these automatically if you pay the extra $10. These legendary crystals are stupid hard to get. So it's not that you can't get them, but they're... Oh, here's the actual thing. So this is what you get in a pass, right? But notice how there's very few words on any of this. The name of the season, but it limits, and everything that has words has a decent level of, I don't know, a graphical enhancement to make it not look cluttery. A lot of words with minimal clutter. you know. But you do have to have them, obviously. But again, this looks gamey. You look at this, if you were to walk in on this on the computer screen, you'd immediately know this is a game. You would know instantly that this is a game. If you were to walk in on a GM game, most of them, on one of their other pages, you would think someone's working on a spreadsheet. Because that's what they look like. They have the tabs and it might be black or off color just to go with the motif of the game, but it's not, it doesn't look like a game. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to make, I want it to look like a game, something that looks fun to try, if nothing else. You know, you've got to feel like, I don't know, I just don't like the idea of opening up a game and it looking like I'm working on a spreadsheet. I don't know that I can get to this level of graphics on the first iteration, but I think I can get the basics down. What the heck? Oh. No, I don't even playing the game. But I'm just showing you that it's got, like this. This is, again, it's a menu with decent looking layout with the words. But the menu isn't cluttered. It's not like 50 things. You go to this page, it's got 7 things, and I think it might even upgrade to 8 if you do some things. I don't know. I think there might be other options. But even if it's got a little bit more, it's only a little bit more scrolling. In fact, this one probably wouldn't even... Oh, I guess it sizes to that. It's pretty much what it is. This has a proportion size. So, this keeps its aspect ratio, which is probably good. A forced aspect ratio is probably the best way to make things fit on all screens, because by having a forced aspect ratio, your game is always designed to fit the aspect ratio. Now I don't know if that works. How even here, all it does is it keeps the aspect ratio and it just cuts off the screen and gives you more border. But that is the best way to design, because now you're not worried about the shape of the phone. or the resolution of the PC. If you have a forced aspect ratio, you're going to have a nice layout no matter what, because you're designed for the aspect ratio, not for the device. And that'll allow you to easier port from item to item and know it's going to work in various forms. If you cut off or expand or do anything to adjust, like a lot of these games on the phone, oops, I don't want to do that. A lot of these games on the phone, I've noticed, don't use a forced aspect ratio. They try to fit to the screen, which of course with 50 cajillion size phones, fold-out phones get cut off all the time because they don't fit to your screen. They don't have a design that works well on your screen. But if it was a forced aspect ratio, I'd rotate the game and everything would be visible. It would use the most elongated, it would look at the aspect ratio of your device and then try to use the one that best fits your aspect ratio. I keep saying ratio, but is it ratio or ratio? Ratio? It's starting to sound worse the more I say it, so I should probably stop. But anyway, if you have a device that fits your fixed ratio, you're going to better be able to accommodate any device. You just turn, so there's some black, or maybe you add a little border, to extend it like they do on this thing. If you have if you're using a full screen, it'll just expand the outsides, keeping your area in, and just that outside area gets filled in by a cool background. I don't know. And theirs is just color, which works pretty well. So I don't even know what that checkbox. Why do I have a checkbox? I've never ever done this. Oh, you upgrade it. Yeah. Oh. Alright, let's do it. These are kind of features I like too. Notice this takes 10 minutes. I think actions, especially in a sports game, a football game, here it's like arbitrary. Well, maybe not. I mean, you're building something. It takes some time. I think it's not unreasonable. There's probably a click here you can pay to make it go faster. Oh, nope, guess not. Surprise. But I like the idea of things that take time. I don't know. You have your guys go do training. Like there's certain things you can do during the day that you just get to do them that day. The next day it clears. And the game maybe only runs, you can only run games every day. Maybe if you can have it at the fastest pace, you can run all your game a season. If you're doing a league or a season, you only get to do it. You get to play your games once a day, but you can have multiple leagues. Like you could do multiple games, but the games take a while to run maybe, and you can do other things in there. Like you can do all your management. You can start some training. You can go look at your playbook. You can look at the various different skills and abilities and things, and you can play through it. And then you go on. And I know a lot of these GM games say, well, let's simulate all the way to the beginning of the season. Okay, maybe you let the game computer take care of all that stuff. But there's some things that just should take time. And for me, one of them is the simulation. Here you don't get to see what the guy's building. It just happens. I wonder if you came back in 5 minutes if it would be half built. It's showing all this noise like it's getting built, but I wonder if they should show. I feel like they should show you. But again, you go onto a screen like my screen right now where I'm doing the playbook. It'd be cool to have something like this guy sitting at a desk plotting things out. You know, it's like if you're doing a play editing, he would be scratching on a piece of paper. And then if you're doing if you're editing the playbook, he's flipping through pages of all the plays, kind of thing. You know, just something like that where you have some basic animations. I say that. For me, it'll probably be just the guy doing this or doing that. No animations, but it'll still be a picture that looks like the motif. Like mine is a fantasy motif, so it'll probably have similar colorings to this, but the guy will be dressed different, look like he look. It'd be cool if I could do one where you have the coach that you built would be the one that's sitting there doing that stuff. So you'd have to have like the goose, you have 32 images of a coach that would be there, and all of them would apply. As you get more and more advanced, maybe you could start doing stuff that gives certain things to the vision, but I'm not playing this right now. I can get distracted a lot by a lot of what's going on here. Jeez. I don't even know what these things are. Dragon Jade? Must be a thing that they were doing and I got it. Now I don't know what to do with it. Update compensation. Oh, well, it lied. Okay, well, whatever. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I like these buttons. I like the way this menu works. Like if you change screens and then you come back, it's like slides in. All these things are like an overlay. And they come in and they give you their links, but I mean, they don't ever go away. But everything moves underneath them because they stay there. So it's kind of cool where your screen. Honestly, I'd rather this stuff just be on the screen. I mean, I don't know if I like this scrolling around bit. But I guess it's better than nothing. You can do this on a PC. On the phone, you can't. You have to like, I don't know, you have to slide over. You have to do stuff to make it work. But, and this one doesn't, there's no zooming in or out. I think on the PC, on the phone, you can zoom in and out. I don't know why they don't let you zoom in and out here. I don't know what you need this view for. Why you scroll this far over? Maybe someday they plan to put some stuff back here. I don't know. But the bottom is where everything's at, right? You can see pretty much everything. But this 3D rendering stuff it's kind of cool, I guess. These guys don't do anything, but maybe their goal is that one day they do. I don't know. They're always the same, so they look the same no matter. I guess it's whoever's playing it, but these are all like the stars of the story. Characters that are crucial to the like Rex here and this guy. I can't remember his name. I forgot a lot of the names already. I haven't played much in the last few months. But again, you have all these characters that don't necessarily, they might be a little cluttered, but they are meant for viewability. And maybe, see with mine, this is too close up. I need bigger things, like, because you're going to go to, I mean, so it's graphically accurate for this dude. He's here sitting in front of his stand. But for mine, it wouldn't work. Because a guy like this would have to be in front of a stadium that would be gargantuan. So I could see a building where it's like none of these people are standing in front of a door, right? There's not like any door of building. But you click on this guy and it obviously doesn't go to the inside of a dragon, but it takes you to another scene that's themed with a dragon. So it's consistent with what you're expecting to see. And that's kind of what I want with mine. I do like, these do better at calling the parts out, because they're creatures. There's beings here that matter. And I think, so you can't really click on his stand, so that's not a thing, but you're clicking on him. But since I don't have people, I'll have things. So what I want to do with mine is like have on my home page, I probably need to be I need to make these things a little bit more deliberate so that you know what you can click on. Like, I don't know, give it a bold border, maybe a slightly fogged glowing border might be good, so you can kind of see that maybe when you hover over it, the border of the area kind of glows, so you can kind of see that you're supposed to select on it. And do the same thing on this one, so that it calls out. So when you're putting your mouse over here, you can kind of see, oh, that's a place, oh, that's a place, that's a place. All these things that are a place are a thing, and then maybe eventually other parts become active. You know, maybe you can start working on your fan stuff, clicking on the stands. You can click on your publicity stuff. It goes over here. You know, just things like that where you would engage with the different parts of the game through a graphical interface that looks like a game. And yeah, we'll have our own little overlay here that shows you how much money you've got, what your fan base is, what your current ranking in a season is, and maybe it'll even show you, where you might, like here you can go, right now it takes you straight to the sim, but maybe it takes you to an option button to play or whatever, So anyway, I got to take a break now, come back. I got to get this thing started on its backup. I don't want to make you watch that where it tries to restore itself. And then take care of some things like lunch. And I will be back, hopefully,